guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kiana and today we're going to be doing my February wrap-up. In the month of February, I will link my TBR up here. I planned on reading 8 books. That did not happen. I read 5. So, I enjoyed majority of them. I want to say 2 of them were 2017 releases. 2 was for my read-alongs and 1 was a new to me book. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. First book that I read in the month of February, it was Always and Forever Laura Jane by Jenny Han. You guys all know how I feel about the first book, To All the Boys I Loved Before. I honestly loved them. Hated the second book, P.S. I Like You. If you do not know what To All the Boys I Loved Before is about a girl named Laura Jane, and for every love that she had, which was about 6, she wrote a letter to them and basically declared after she wrote the letters, she was done loving them. Loved the first book, hated the second book. Hated/loved this book. It was as much drama as it was in the second book, but with loving as the first book. So I rated this a 3.5 to a 4 stars. I think it was a good enough kind of concluding to the series. I'm glad I'm over and done with this trilogy, and I think I'm over Jenny Han's writing, and yeah, it was okay in my opinion. The second book that I read in the month of February was for my Percy Jackson reread, and that is Percy Jackson and the Olympian Book 3, The Titan's Courage, which has always been my favorite book in the series. I am continuing to doing my reread. I think next month I might read the 4th and the 5th and just pick it up, or I just might finish with 1. I haven't decided yet. Book 3 follows Percy, Annabeth, and Thalia and Grover as they go to see Grover in this private school to pick up 2 new demigods, and why they try to save him from save both of them, which are a brother and a sister. They get encountered by the maiden goddess Artemis, and they say that this creature attacked them, and Artemis is like, I have to stop this. And Artemis knows that Kronos is rising, and she is trying to convince her father and everybody in Olympus. Okay, Kronos rising, and she tries to convince them, and then Annabeth gets taken by this creature and all holy hell breaks loose, and one of the characters dies. If you have read this, you know which one I am talking about. Enjoyed this much more than I enjoyed the first and the second book, and I rated this one a 5 out of 5 stars, while the other ones was a 3 to 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah. Okay, so the third book that I read in the month of February, I heard so many good reviews about it, and I wanted to see what all the hype was, and that was Every Had a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. This is basically about, if you have not heard, you basically live under a rock, that every person finds a door and they go into this land, and once they get out, it is really hard for them to go back in. And then this one, death occurs. Someone is killing all these females to try to go back into their land. I figured it out when they asked one of the dead persons a question, and so there was murder mystery in this. I figured out who it was when they asked one of the dead people who did it. It was so interesting. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely want to continue with the second and the third book. Loved it so much. The fourth book that I read in the month of February was for Emma's read along, and that was City of Ashes book 2 in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It is definitely a 4 instead of a 5 because it drags on when they go to like find Valentine, and that is one thing that annoyed me. Like, yes, battle is supposed to take on forever, but it's not supposed to take forever and drag on and keep switching points of views. I feel like that's one of the points that really annoyed me, but I still enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the first book, and I am so glad to continue on with my reread. You will see my TBR next, and I will make sure to leave it on the eye for all of you guys to see. And then the fifth and final book is another 2017 release, and I read the first book in, I want to say June or July. And the first book is called Ever and the Hunted. So the second book is definitely Ever the Brave by Erin Summerhill. If you don't know what Ever the Hunted is about, it's about a girl named Britta. Her father dies, and they basically blame the whoever killed him on her father's apprentice, which is her best friend Cohen. And she hunts down Cohen to try to figure out, why did you kill my father? And then they learn he didn't kill her father. He is being set up. They have to find whoever set him up and save the kingdom. So that happens, and then the second book takes place 6 months after the events of the first book, and basically Britta is now the king's favorite for helping save her. from some Chandler who she finds out later is her mother. That's not a spoiler, it's literally in like the first 2 chapters. Anyway, the kingdom is being taken over in this story, and they have to basically kill who is the head of the rebels and kill Britta's mother. And I enjoyed this so much. Rated this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I will link every title with the book with my Goodreads review down below. Absolutely love this book. Cannot wait to read book 3, which is going to be about the King Oidron. I don't know how you say his name, but I love this book so much. So these are all the books that I read in the month of February. Comment down below if you read any of these yourself, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye bye.